At this point in college, I'm 18, freshly new, a freshman at Towson University. I have no money. I only have time, right? And the resources I have, there's this new thing called YouTube. There's this new thing called YouTube where I can look up other Black women who are also doing their hair, and their generosity changed my life forever. So like I said, I went to college and I was on my own pretty much. Girl, God bless. My hair had grown since then. I was feeling my natural hair. It was more acceptable to have natural hair now in 2008. And I went to college. And I was at a PWI, which means a predominantly white institution. And you had to find your Black friends, right? But my Black friends didn't really do hair. So I was kind of on my own. And so I went to Target and Walmart, and I was buying all these products, spending money I didn't have for my little refund check at college, trying to figure out what products worked for me. Then I found YouTube. God bless YouTube. There were Black women on there very early on teaching other Black women what works for their hair, what they've tried. And it just became a source, like a resource for Black women. And I was so grateful to them because I was able to try, hairstyles and products and not have to waste my time or my energy or my effort or my money, because I was actually being able to see in real time, right? It's not the just for me perms anymore. It's in real time I can see what happens when you use this product on this kind of hair. And then you can kind of guess for yourself, right? And everything's a guessing game until you actually try it yourself. But I was still, again, so appreciative. But I did notice that the natural hair care community started to change. At some point, it went from the 4C girls helping the 4C girls out. It became more profitable to be a girl with curly hair. And no offense to my curly hair girls out there. I see y'all. I love y'all. But we started getting erased. They were now the example of natural hair. They were the example of how you wanted your natural hair to come out, right? The loose curls. And I realized that a lot of Black women were struggling with this because they're like, my hair doesn't do that naturally, right? My hair is not that loose. My hair is actually very, very tight. Or people who had zigzag patterns, right? Where were they fitting into this? And because YouTube was turning into a place now where ads were run, and it was about the money and about the brand deals, right? And all these different things, it became about the money and the products as opposed to what it was before as community care and a source of knowledge for Black women to share resources. I'm grateful for it, right? Because the natural hair care movement taught me to work with my hair instead of against it, right? That my hair is not wrong, but the force and pressure I put on it to be anything other than what it was created to be and the way that it grows out of my head, that is wrong. The pressure is wrong. The judgment is wrong. I am not wrong, right? And Black women need time and care, right? And that's okay. And that's sacred. Representation was really important. Being able to see women like you with hair like you, showing you how to do the thing, showing you to be kind with yourself, to take time with yourself, showing you what products would work with your hair and what products would not, was a game changer for all of us, for a lot of us. But like I said, at some point I noticed a shift. I said it went from Black women with thick, coarse hair to mixed girls with curly hair, right? And again, all love to my mixed girls with curly hair, but this felt intentional, and not from the girls with curly hair, but from product placement and ad revenue and all the powers that be, right? It shifted from a grassroots kind of community effort to help one another to more of a business and for-profit movement, right? So the content that was being pushed was to platform other women who were being seen as women with the accepted Blackness, the acceptable Black features. Like your hair's not too curly, you're not too light, you're not too dark skin, excuse me. You look a certain way, right? And so the content was confusing because it went from the girls who get it like me to other girls who were being praised for having hair like this. And what it also did was it kind of skewed people's understanding of what Black hair is supposed to look like, using supposed to loosely here, but how Black hair looks, right? Black hair looks a million different ways. But what was platformed were the curly girls' hair. Like their hair was praised. Like, oh, that's so beautiful. That's so pretty. It's so soft. It's so nice. And we're looking like, what about us? You know what I mean? What about us? Do we have to get our hair done like this? And the answer, it seemed, was yes, because I did not see a lot of girls like me with hair like me who were allowing their fros just to be free, right? And not trying to over manipulate their hair or define their curls even. Like, why do I have to define my curls? Why can't they just be? Why can't I have any natural hairstyles that are just natural? It's like, no, it's just all this to do just to look presentable again to other people, right? And the thicker hair girls like me were being pushed to the side, even though they were the laborers who built that platform. They were the ones who started that movement. And Black women often knows how that feels to have start a movement, to put all your blood and your sweat and your tears into something just for it to be co-opted by somebody else. They use Black women for their labor often, and that was no different in the hair care community, in my opinion. Yes. So they laid the groundwork, they did the work, and it was co-opted by other people. It started again. It was happening again, right? Black women were finally centering themselves, then being sold colorism and texturism all over again by these companies. This community was built on the backs and the labor of Black women with coarse hair, dark-skinned Black women, and it was co-opted by other people who are now reaping the benefits because they saw Black women coming together in community and saw it as an opportunity to make money. And so they want to make money with the people that they respect and the people that they can understand. So they're doing it with people who are right on that line of like, yeah, it's different than us, but not too different. It doesn't make us feel too insecure. And I also noticed products changing. I remember back in the day, there was a commercial by Shea Moisture where they were talking about like bad hair care days or something like that. And it was two white women and it was a lighter skin, curlier hair girl. And there was no representation for us. Meanwhile, Shea Moisture was like our thing. It was like, oh, this is for us. The products are thick enough. Like it's enough to lather and things like that and to like work the hair. They started changing the formula to appeal to a more white audience. That also happened with the Mielle, Mielle, I believe it's spelled. I don't know how to pronounce it, but Mielle, the hair oil, that was a whole thing. The Black girls finally found a hair oil that worked for them. And the fear was that, oh no, the white girls are getting to it. So now they're going to change it for us because they're giving them more money, as if white women don't already have enough products on their shelves. Suave. The ones that I used to love were Herbal Essence. I used to want... Poor me. I used to use Herbal Essence thinking my hair was going to turn out like the women in the commercials and didn't understand, girl, that's product, that's styling, right? And that's also not your hair. But it would wear my hair out. It'd be so stripped of oil or anything. And it was just unhealthy. And I'm like, dang, y'all don't have enough. Y'all got to colonize everything. And they did. And because Shea Moisture, I think, was sold to another company, they started changing their formula. And to this day, I still, the products that I used to use, they're never the same. It's never been the same. And I bought it again, maybe like a few weeks before I cut my hair this last time and it didn't work. I said, you know what, forget it, cut it. But either way, Black women were being forgotten again. Black women's efforts and their labor and their care and their kindness were being forgotten about again. They saw Black women as an opportunity to make money, to sell us insecurity, to sell us shame, to sell us colorism and featurism and texturism. And it worked. We bought their products trying to achieve what they were selling, right? So that was very frustrating. And Black women were upset, rightfully so. Because how many times is this going to happen? How many times are Black women going to uphold and help pour into a company that's just going to betray us in the end? They see us as workhorses and nothing else. They see us as a way to make money and nothing else. It was very disappointing, actually. Black women often feel used and forgotten. And many Black women left because they and their work were being co-opted, right? And buried underneath of the algorithm and not getting any brand deals and things like that. Like they were being left out and they couldn't sustain. And they had to turn. They had to pivot into something else. There were a bunch of hair care people doing their things who left because it was no longer profitable or sustainable for them. And I still thank them and bless them because they still helped me. And I'm still grateful for them to this day. Okay. Finding out about a Denman brush. I never knew what that was. What the lock method. So many things like how to properly detangle and how to make it easier for you in the shower. Like I'm so appreciative of these women and I don't blame them for leaving. I understand. It's frustrating and heartbreaking when you start something, when you build something and people either destroy it over and over and over again, or they're telling you that it's not enough, or they're giving the platform to other people who did not labor like you did. It's not fair. It's not fair. So they left. And so even again, the formulas in the stores change, right? And again, it also influenced other people to expect all Black women's hair to be curly in a palatable way. in a palatable way. So shout out again to the women who are like, this is my 4C hair or thick hair or whatever you want to call it, coarse hair, curly hair, coily hair, right? And it's done. I'm not defining any curls for you. I'm not detangling for you. I'm walking out the house. And I love that because it really shows that people really don't love natural hair. You know what I mean? It really shows that people don't really love natural hair because you don't know what natural hair really is. And I don't mean natural as in, I mean natural as in like doing the least possible, right? What is equity, right? When we're talking about like hair equity and things like this, like opportunities being taken because you don't think that their hair is kept up, right? White women, again, are able to leave their house with messy buns while their hair is still wet. Meanwhile, my hair is moisturized, clean, and everything, and I can't walk out the door with a fro because it intimidates you. Why is that? Something is off. Even though the movement was to help Black women to feel seen and heard and appreciated and valued and helped, because it was co-opted, it ended up doing the opposite. It buried women even more. It caused us to want to labor even more to make our hair even more presentable and acceptable by other people. Right. And again, we know what that feels like as Black women in general. We do all this work just to have it co-opted or to say like, oh, well, that's not enough. It has to show up like this. Right. To have white people coming in while our things are working for us and say like, you know what? I think you should do this. We didn't ask you. We don't care. We don't care. OK. So when people say they like a fro or a natural hair, they meant at that time a curly fro. They meant a more relaxed hairstyle. Right. They didn't really mean this. I'm going to insert a picture here of a fro. They didn't mean this. They meant this, right? And so you're measuring yourself up against it, and it's really frustrating. So Black women created a safe space for us, as we do, as Black women do, right? But money, business, and texturism, colorism, all the isms funds things in this country, sadly, because it's ghetto here. And so we had to sell texturism and color. We had to sell you not enoughness so that you bought stuff to feel enough. So while you Black women are loving your hair, that's great. But I'm going to slip in some colorism and texturism a little bit right here so that the beauty that you're trying to reach is unattainable for you. And you're always going to buy my products over and over again, hoping that this will be the product. This $15 here, this $18. And that's another thing. This hair care stuff product is these products for Black women's hair is not cheap. It's not cheap. We are taxed because we have thicker hair. You can buy Suave for like $1, right? Baseline Black girl shampoo, at least 10. At least. And then you need enough. This is not going to cut it. I got thick hair. My hair drinks up product, okay? So you got to get a whole jar, right? And then some. Like it's actually ridiculous.